Super Mario Galaxy 2 is my favorite game of all time, and so right after I 100% completed the game when the Switch Remaster released, I went and did the next best thing and play through the entire game again. I should have really edited this earlier. But this time it's different. I need to play through the whole game without power-ups. So that means no bee mushroom, no cloud flower, no spring mushroom, thankfully. Nothing that changes Mario's clothes. We can't have that, we gotta stay on brand. I've done a challenge run like this before, so it is indeed possible, but I figured I would show how I go about doing so, because this will not be your average playthrough. So be sure to subscribe for future videos like these, because I'll always be down to play more of this game. Let's go! Just like any playthrough of Super Mario Galaxy 2, this one starts off in Sky Station Galaxy. And you folks are subscribed, so you know from my previous video that I've indeed played these games before. Watch it after this one. I'll have the, I nab the first Power Star and go to what will soon be Starship Mario, no power-ups here, and start my journey to collect a total of 70 Power Stars, travel through 6 worlds, and beat the game. Now, while this is all well and good, I still haven't given a definition for what exactly defines something being a power-up in this game. So what is a power-up? To put it simply, it is whenever Mario touches something that changes his appearance. So something like the spin drill in Spin Dig Galaxy would count as an item rather than a power-up, because if that was the case, we wouldn't even make it to 5 stars. Now you might be wondering, what about the Yoshi fruits that you can eat in the game? Don't those count as power-ups? Well, yes and no, but mostly no. Here's why. First off, it's not Mario's appearance that is changing, and while some of you folks may consider these fruits to be power-ups, it quite literally doesn't matter, because all of the stars that you would need these fruits to obtain can be completely skipped with the infinite flutter glitch, which is such a simple glitch you'll never guess what it does. And for my own peace of mind, we'll be sticking to the changing appearance rule I laid out earlier. But speaking of, Yoshi is a fantastic addition to this game, and I'm so glad they kept the infinite flutter glitch in for the Switch version, and I'm so glad that assist mode exists so I don't have to restart the level after trying to skip over and over again in Yoshi Star Galaxy's second level. Yahoo! And like I said with the pickups beforehand, Spin Dig Galaxy goes super well. It plays just like normal. After realizing Right Side Down Galaxy is a no-go because we can't use the Fire Flower, it is time for my worst nightmare: clouds. And more specifically, Fluffy Bluff Galaxy. This galaxy revolves around the Cloud Flower, which is the first big hurdle of the run. Throughout the galaxy, there are these cloud platforms that, without Cloud Mario, will disappear upon Mario touching them. However, there is a very small time frame where Mario is able to jump on the cloud before it disappears. This allows me to long jump to these middle clouds, land on this question mark block, and then do some more long jumps to safety. The only other big challenge in this galaxy comes from the very end, where there are more clouds that need to be traversed over. So by some careful long jumps, Mario makes it to the final platform area, where I need to do a precise triple jump off of the giant cloud to make it up to the chimp and grab the star. Now this is a very difficult jump, so I'm quite glad I turned assist mode on, but after a few minutes of trying, I get the angle just right and grab the star to clear past the final checkpoint of World 1. So let me talk about that. The main difference between Mario Galaxy 1 and 2 is the fact that Mario Galaxy 2 is a lot more linear in progression. Instead of stars being used to unlock specific galaxies, Mario Galaxy 2 has what I call checkpoints, where a certain amount of stars are needed to get past a certain point on the map. Combine this with the world map mechanic, and there are some galaxies in the game that are mandatory to complete if you want to progress. So after collecting 7 stars to get through the second checkpoint of World 1, it's time for the first Bowser Jr. boss fight, that being Gobblegut, and this plays exactly how you would expect. World 2 opens up with Puzzle Plank Galaxy, and as long as you aren't doing the secret star, you can beat this level just like normal. Just be sure to grab the Comet Medal, you will need that, and I'll tell you more about those later. Completing Puzzle Plank Galaxy unlocks Hightail Falls and Boulder Bowl Galaxy. One revolves around the Rock Mushroom, and another revolves around Yoshi, so to Hightail Falls we go. And Hightail Falls plays just like normal, but more importantly, World 2 only has one checkpoint, and that is 16 stars. So in order to maximize our time here, we grab stars 10 and 11 in Hightail Falls, and then hightail it to the other galaxies in World 2. Those being Wild Glide Galaxy and Cosmic Cove Galaxy, which is one of my favorites in the whole game. What a vibe. And let me tell you, there is not much to say other than you can just play this galaxy normally, which I will come to appreciate as this challenge continues. And now Mario can move on to Wild Glide Galaxy to fly with Blizzard. And this galaxy goes just as well as you would expect. That glide sure is wild. That brings the star count to 15, and it seems like we got some mail from the chimp telling Mario to return to Fluffy Bluff Galaxy to complete a score challenge, which to my my surprise, I realized that in assist mode, not only is the timer extended, but the score requirement is lowered by quite a lot too. And you know what? I'm not complaining. I've got too much to do to be focused on getting the best score possible. With that completed, I grab the 16th star and make my way past the checkpoint to the first Bowser fight of the game at the end of World 2. And thankfully, this galaxy plays just like normal. I sure am glad that these boss fights don't require any power-ups. Haha. I'm sure that won't be a problem in the future. Collecting the second Grand Star, it is now time for the next world. World 3 opens up with a choice between two galaxies, those being Tall Trunk Galaxy and Cloudy Court Galaxy. This world only has one checkpoint before heading to the boss, and that is for 28 power stars. The biggest increase so far, this will become a trend. So first I head to Cloudy Court Galaxy to collect the first star of World 3. This is another galaxy based off of the Cloud Flower, and while completing the first star of the galaxy isn't possible, the secret star very much is, and... oh, let's pretend you didn't see that. The secret star of this level requires you to feed a Hungry Luma 30 coins, to which they'll make this abomination of a planet. Now you may be wondering how I am ever going to attempt this given that the entire area is made up of clouds, so let me tell you, these are big boy clouds. Not only do they disappear slower than usual, if I hold down jump and spin the moment I start falling after the cloud disappears, I will maintain enough height to land back on the cloud when it regenerates, allowing me a brief moment of time to move on the cloud as if it were solid ground. Using this strategy, I collect all 5 silver stars and let assist mode take me back home to collect the star. Oh my god, I love assist mode, thank you so much. You didn't want to see me attempt this on the original Wii version, and I know because I have done this on the original Wii version. With that done, it is time to move on to Tall Trunk Galaxy, where it plays exactly like you would expect. No surprises here, which is a very welcome addition after Cloudy Court Galaxy. Clearing the first star of Tall Trunk Galaxy unlocks access to Haunty Halls Galaxy, which we play the first level of, and it plays exactly how you would expect. This does involve the Glowberry, which is my favorite Yoshi fruit in the game, and I nab the star easy peasy, raising my total count to 20 and unlocking access to the Hungry Luma of World 3, which we need a bit more star bits for, because first we are going to feed the Hungry Luma of World 1 to unlock Flip Swap Galaxy. And this level plays just like normal, nothing crazy, except me. What? With star 21 collected, it's time to feed the Hungry Luma of World 2 to unlock Honey Bloom Galaxy. And although this galaxy revolves around the bee mushroom, the secret star present here makes it a whole lot easier to go through without power-ups. I'll just make sure to nab the Comet Medal before heading back and grabbing the secret star by wall jumping a few times. With 22 stars collected, it's time for the slide of Tall Trunk Galaxy. Holy moly! And this star goes exactly how you would expect. Nothing too crazy here, except, oh my goodness, is that a comet? By collecting the comet medals hidden throughout the galaxies, more power stars will become available in previous galaxies. In this case, Yoshi Star Galaxy has a comet available, but it just so happens to use the Rainbow Star, and that's a power-up, so a no-go sadly. However, more and more comets will be appearing as more stars and comet medals are collected, so that will help out with the star count. After the slide, it is time for the second star of Haunty Halls Galaxy, and this yet again goes just like how you would expect. There are no power-ups here to mess anything up, however I do use this opportunity to collect tons of star bits from this long stretch of the level. Once collecting around 1,000 star bits, I grab the star, raising the total count to 24, and I go feed the World 3 Hungry Luma. But would you look at that? It seems there is a comet over Spin Dig Galaxy. We'll have to take a look at that later. I must feed the Luma to unlock Beat Block Galaxy. With no power-ups to impede my progress, I get the star, raising the count to 25, only needing 3 more to unlock the boss of World 3. As well as a comet appearing in Sky Station Galaxy, and a letter to Mario for a race in Wild Glide Galaxy. The racing minigame doesn't change much, you just go through the level a little bit faster. The same goes for the comet in Sky Station Galaxy, where you go through the level just a little bit faster, and in Spin Dig Galaxy, you fight the boss with 1 health. So practically nothing changes from the first time I play the level. With those 3 stars collected, the World 3 checkpoint opens up. So now it is time to fight Bowser Jr. as the boss of World 3. And this level goes exactly how you would expect. There are no power-ups here, so it is smooth sailing from start to finish. After defeating the boss and grabbing the 3rd Grand Star, the path opens up to the next world. World 4 opens up with 2 choices, either feed the Hungry Luma, which I do not have the star bits for, or run through Supermassive Galaxy, which is what I end up doing, because there are no power-ups in this level to impede my progress. World 4 only has 1 checkpoint, that being a 40-star requirement, so there will be some tough times ahead, one of the main reasons why I decide to stop for a bit and get some extra lives by stomping on the Koopas. And I immediately use those extra lives to grab some extra star bits, as those Hungry Lumas aren't going to feed themselves. So after collecting around 1,000 star bits again, I run around a planet for a bit to collect the secret star of Supermassive Galaxy, unlocking Flipsville Galaxy and Honey Hop Galaxy. And after running through the actual first star of Supermassive Galaxy, I have enough star bits to feed the Hungry Luma and unlock Sweet Mystery Galaxy. So with these 3 galaxies available, the first one I enter is Honey Hop. It is centered around the bee mushroom, so I figured I should rip the band-aid off when I have the chance. The hardest part of this galaxy is at the very start. You are normally supposed to use the bee mushroom to scale the wall, but I'm not about to do that. Now while this seems impossible, thankfully since the wall isn't perfectly flat, it is possible to wall jump off a very specific part of the wall and send Mario jumping towards the floating ledge. I don't know why this takes me as long as it does, but after that obstacle is cleared, the level is still far from finished. Crazy wall jumps have to be made, I have to navigate around this bee mushroom, which feels impossible, but it's not. There are so many bubbles, and to top it all off, there are cloud and flower platforms too, both of which disappear upon contact with regular Mario. Once I get to the main planet, however, it is pretty smooth sailing to get the 5 silver stars and collect a star, making the total count 32 and unlocking Starshine Beach Galaxy, Chompworks Galaxy, and a comet on Supermassive Galaxy. Before I tackle any of those, however, it is off to Flipsville Galaxy to play the levels as intended, raising the star count to 34, nearly half of the total amount needed to beat the game. Now moving on to Starshine Beach Galaxy, and this first level is as relaxing as the galaxy itself. Just collect the 5 silver stars and you're good. The second level of Starshine Beach Galaxy is one of the trickier ones in the game, however. Usually you would grab a cloud flower power-up and use it to scale the tower, but since I can't do that, I have to game. I have to long jump towards the tower, wall jump onto a moving cloud platform where I then side flip upwards to wall jump again, landing on another moving cloud platform to which I can then get to the top and grab the star. Now it's not the most difficult bit of platforming in the world, but getting the timing right for the cloud platforms to be aligned is difficult work. But after some time I managed to have the metaphorical stars aligned to get a star. Just don't look at the level clear time, it's not good for you. With that, a cloud flower gets added onto Starship Mario to mock me, and a comet appears over the World 1 boss while I go explore Chompworks Galaxy. And that level goes how you would expect. There are no power-ups here. The second level of Chompworks Galaxy, however, is a different story, as this is the only time the game decides to throw the spring mushroom at you. Now, fun fact, this is one of my favorite levels in the game. However, that is only true if you don't use the spring mushroom, because you can just do that. It's a great platforming challenge and honestly feels better than using the spring mushroom to bounce all the way up to the top and nab the star. The total star count climbs to 38, and we're off to Sweet Mystery Galaxy to grab the single star there, with some infinite fluttering with Yoshi too. I know I can use the Glowberry, but this is also fun. With 1 star left to get before the 40 star checkpoint is unlocked, I head back to Supermassive Galaxy and play through the level just a little bit faster than usual. With the 40th star collected, it is now time to move on to Bowser's Gravity Gauntlet for the second Bowser fight of the game, and this level goes just how you would expect. There are no power-ups here yet again, so I am chilling. And with the 4th Grand Star collected, it is time to move on to my favorite world in this game. World 5 opens up with Space Storm Galaxy, and there isn't much to say other than this is one of my favorites. After collecting the first star in this galaxy, it unlocks 5 more galaxies to collect stars in. The checkpoint for World 5 is a whopping 55 stars, so I'm going to have to use every single galaxy I can if I want to get the required amount. The second star of Space Storm Galaxy is a nice and easy time as well. I do love buoy-based galaxy music, so this is great. But with that galaxy done for now, I need to figure out the best course of action to get as many stars from these 5 new galaxies. I would try to go through Slipsand Galaxy, but that requires the Fire Flower for the first star, so sadly that's a no-go. But Shiverburn Galaxy is up next, and although this galaxy really wants you to use the Cloud Flower on the first go-around, if you manage to get to this far-off platform with 4 points of health, you'll be able to make it to the switch that turns everything to ice. From there I can do the Chimp's Score challenge to get a star, and then repeat the whole process to go through the level properly, fighting the boss and grabbing the star. Also, oh my goodness, look at these spooky guys. And with 45 stars, I'm moving on to Boo Moon Galaxy to get the hidden star, and then the first star proper. And doing so unlocks perhaps my most feared comet in the game on Shiverburn Galaxy. And I get a letter from Gearmo telling me to check out Space Storm Galaxy to bring a top man their way, which is simple enough. So that's another star added to the total. But now, before I do the evil comet in Shiverburn, I'll do the main star of Upside Dizzy Galaxy, since that won't take too long, and thankfully, there's no power-ups. As long as I don't do the secret star, that is. And I'm further postponing the Shiverburn Comet to do the Comet of the first Bowser Jr. boss, the Speedrun Comet of Hightail Falls, the Speedrun Comet of Bowser's Lava Lair, the Daredevil Comet of the second Bowser Jr. fight, and finally I can either feed the Hungry Luma to get the 54th star, or do the Shiverburn Comet, and I'm short on star bits. What makes me dread this comet so much is that the game game intends you to grab the rainbow star, and while you are invincible, defeat all of the enemies within the time limit. And so my strategy consists of shooting the enemies with star bits and then running into them to take them out. And I must say thank you assist mode for giving me extra time to do this, because I remember last time I did this without assist mode, it wasn't nearly as easy. I still can't believe I did it first try. But with 1,500 star bits, I can now feed the Hungry Luma to unlock Fleet Glide Galaxy, which goes just as smoothly as Wild Glide Galaxy did. With 55 total power stars obtained, the final Bowser Jr. fight of the game becomes available. And this boss fight heavily revolves around the Cloud Flower. And while there is a pretty difficult jump to even get to the boss fight, that's the easy part, because how in the world will you be able to get to the top of the Boomsday machine without the Cloud Flower, you may ask? Because the answer is simple: electricity. When Bowser Jr. shoots these balls of electricity, if Mario is positioned at the correct height after a triple jump, wall jump, and spin, when Mario gets hit by the ball, it will allow him to spin again, gaining enough height to wall jump and then spin again to make it to the top of the machine. Doing this for the first 2 hits is simple enough. That is until the Boomsday machine starts moving, which can interrupt the flow quite a bit. Standing as high as possible on the Boomsday machine, backflipping into a wall jump and spin, you get barely just enough height to get on top of the machine and land the final hit. All I will say is thank you assist mode for having Mario regenerate health, or else I would have died multiple times trying to do this. And that's the 5th Grand Star collected, and now there are only 14 power stars left until I can get to the final boss. On to the final world. World 6 opens up with Melty Monster Galaxy, and a Hungry Luma, and a 60-star checkpoint. The first level of Melty Monster is quite simple, thankfully. There are no power-ups required for the first star. That's neat. The second and third stars require the Rock Mushroom, so I'll be heading to Clockwork Ruins Galaxy for the hidden star before doing the main star of the galaxy, and in completing that, a comet pops up over Beat Block Galaxy, and Mario gets a letter from the chimp telling him to head over to Honey Hop Galaxy for another score challenge. And I must say I'm quite thankful for assist mode lowering the score requirement, but not thankful for making me wait 2 minutes to complete the challenge. A positive and a negative, I suppose. At least I get a good break. Completing that gives me star number 60, and it is off to Beat Block Galaxy to complete the comet there I mentioned before, which is just beating the original level a tiny bit faster. After star 61 is obtained, I plan to feed the Hungry Luma in World 6 to unlock Flash Black Galaxy, so I head to Sweet Mystery to get my star bit count up. With the Hungry Luma well fed, it is time to get the main star of Flash Black Galaxy, which isn't too difficult due to no power-ups being there. And once completing that, it is time for Throwback Galaxy since the 60-star checkpoint has been unlocked. 2 more checkpoints remain now, those being 65 stars and 70 stars. I must say, in the process of filming this challenge run and me running this script, I've speedrun Mario 64 quite the number of times, so this brings back memories. After defeating the Womp King again and getting a star, a comet appears over Flash Black Galaxy, so it's time to complete that, which is similar to the Shiverburn Galaxy comet, except there are no helpful, not helpful rainbow stars here, so good news for me. With star 64 completed, I move on to Slimy Spring Galaxy, and it is just what you would expect from a level with no power-ups in it. Getting the 65th star and unlocking the second last checkpoint, it is time for Battle Belt Galaxy, which is quite the interesting one. Most of this galaxy can be completed without power-ups, however there is one section that you are supposed to use a fire flower to take out these fuzzy urchin lads, but a well-placed triple jump and spin will allow you to reach the other planet's gravity without using the fire flower. This galaxy has a Hungry Luma hidden star, as well as a main star, as well as a Daredevil comet where you have to go through the whole gauntlet without taking damage, but those are all possible, adding 3 more stars to the total counter. At this point, Mario also receives a race invitation in Fleet Glide Galaxy, which goes as normal, just a tiny bit faster. And with that, I only have 1 star left to complete the run. I don't see any possible option to go to, however. I think all my galaxies have been exhausted. Oh wait, there's that one speedrun comment for the second Bowser level. Let's do that. Completing the speedrun brings the total star count to 70, unlocking the final level, Bowser's Galaxy Generator. Now the final level has this platforming section that is very Cloud Flower oriented, and if this game didn't have green stars, I think the run would die right here. Because if you take this lift all the way to the top of the stage, you can squeeze into this little opening and skip the whole section. This little area was originally meant for you to be able to keep some clouds so you can grab a green star later in the level, but in this scenario, it allows the level to be completed without the Cloud Flower. And after throwing rocks at Bowser for the 3rd time in the past few hours, I collect the final Grand Star and complete Mario Galaxy 2 without power-ups. For my favorite game ever, it's always fun to play through it in different ways like this, whether it be without power-ups, 100% completing the game in one sitting, or trying to spin as little as possible. I've done all 3, by the way. If only someone made a video on the 100% one. I don't know. And you should subscribe so you don't miss any other Mario Galaxy videos. And as always, thank you for watching, and don't eat springs. Yahoo!